Connecting bridge to Pulse chain. Connecting ledger up through the contract. EMP on ESC sent to Pulse chain.
36 bit collect the fees, chop go up, only green, connect the chains, prove the contracts, bridge the assets and make a gain. APR so high, so juicy, for the look like Gary Busey. EMP flossing, tossing, 3650 we secret saucing.
Bridge, Pulse chain, bridge, BSC. Transaction status success. 69 block confirmations. 420 UTC.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. I'm joined by my fellow team member and co-host with the most, LA. LA, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic and excited for this AMA. We've been on some really great calls today, and we're up for another one.
Yes, 100%. We have a lot of updates to give, lots of alpha and lots of prime info. Again, Mondays are usually both Monday and Thursday, but Mondays especially seem to set the tone for the week ahead. The markets are waking up as well. We'll talk a little bit about that. Markets overall, Bitcoin and ETH just absolutely ripping. I'm sure that we'll see a pullback here, but for right now, it's been green candles all around. So again, we'll talk more about that. But before we get into all of this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, the YouTube is really a great way for us to get the word out about EMP and our entire ecosystem, EMP, Sparkswap, and L1DEX, as well as, monetization of our channel. So all the ad revenue that we make goes to supporting our projects as well. So, all right, that being said, we're going to jump in. Again, if you are in the chat, welcome. Thanks to all the loyal emperors and empresses, or Sparkies, whatever you want to classify yourself, and just joining the chat, supporting, investing in your investment, even if it's not, a financial, commitment. It's about helping us grow in the bear and preparing for the bull. So, all right, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna start with Sparkswap. Some updates on that. Again, if you have questions, please type them in the chat to the side here at live chat, or we have a dedicated channel on our Discord where you can comment questions that we'll get to on the next AMA, depending on when you put those questions. So, all right, Sparkswap, again, killing it. We are back over 10 million TVL and growing. Really, really healthy week at Spark. A lot of that has to do with the price of Pulse, as well as our bridge, which, again, we're the first, technically that's not the first, but the most successful, the cheapest, and the safest PLS to BSC bridge. And then, we can use that not only as a great product market fit, but that actually creates a yield for the protocol as well through fees, and those go directly to Sparkler. So that was really bullish again over the last few days, and now we're looking really, really good. So PLS is pumping. We even had a lot of sell pressure on Spark today, but the price of Spark was actually holding or going up because, again, we mentioned this on a few other AMAs. The main LP pair is PLS to Spark. So when Pulse goes up, we are the price of or when Pulse goes up, the price of Spark is dragged up with it. So you get full exposure to the price of Pulse while maintaining your Spark PLS LP. So it's been super bullish that we have over $1 million of liquidity in Pulse. And so again, we see a 10x on Pulse. It could do wonders for the price of Spark. Again, not financial advice. So that is looking really well. We're busy behind the scenes again, working to add a stable token option for the bridge. So we had a really killer development meeting today. Again, I'm not going to put any time frames, as I know I get in trouble for that, but I will say we're working on this ASAP. The idea is that we'll have a stable token option for the bridge, so you don't have to buy EMP. You can get again, we won't disclose what the pair is yet, but not only will it be a stable asset, but it will also be fully collateralized. So you'll never have to worry about, not having the proof of reserves. Typically, that's how a lot of bridges get in trouble. They don't have the actual collateral to back up the bridging assets. Well, in our case, we will. So it's super, super bullish. And, again, that will be an incredible product market fit because right now your only option is bridging ETH or USDC or DAI on the main Ethereum to Pulse bridge, and the fees are astronomical. Again, not only do you have to pay the bridge fee, but you have to pay the gas fees as well, and it takes about an hour to do that. Our bridge was working average times, of under 1 minute, so it's really, really bullish for people that want to move money around in and out of Pulse. So, all right, LA, anything you want to add to that? We have a few more announcements here, but I feel like I'm going pretty fast. So, yeah, you want to add
You're
to that?
powering through.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, not too much to add to that. We'll definitely keep you updated. We don't want to give any time frames because we haven't yet gotten into the testing phase, which, as you know, we're not always sure what's going to pop up during that phase, but we're making great headway and we'll continue to keep you updated every step of the way as we have new information that arises.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, on top of that, again, some more updates, and then we'll take some questions here. The Sparkler is still absolutely killing it. Again, we try to not get on here and overhype things. We like to discuss actual math behind what's happening, but over the last 6 days, the last week, the average payout in Sparkler has been 91%, or I'm sorry, I wish it was 91%, 0.91%. So almost 1% a day in Sparkler. And again, that is real yield, meaning it's paid out through the actual fees that the protocol generates, not minting of new Spark or new, tokens. So that's super bullish, and we've said it all along. I think people are starting to finally realize it. But you can make way more money in the long run by going into Sparkler than just dumping your token. So yeah, LA, you want to add to that? Good.
Yeah, and just to be transparent, I didn't have time to do the math today because we were on calls literally all day nonstop, but that was as of yesterday. So that was the first 6 days. The average of the first 6 days since the bridge launched was 0.91% APR daily.
Perfect. Yeah. So, and again, that APR will fluctuate. We're not here to say things that will exaggerate what's happening. You can see the APR in real time through the UI. But again, it's been really promising, and there's plenty of community members. And again, I encourage all of you to ask in our socials their experience in Sparkler. And even if you got into Sparkler within the first week or two, you've been able to 3 or 4x your original contribution into Sparkler. So it's really again about creating passive income for the long run. Yes, you have to essentially burn your tokens because you get the most shares if you lock for 10 years. But you again, after you make up that initial 100%, everything else on top is gravy and money that you would have never earned if you just would have sold your Spark directly. So, all right, the AMA train continues. So, choo choo around here. I know that's today's title as well. We have started the AMA train all over again. We're promoting the bridge. We're promoting our Treasury Bond NFTs, which we'll talk about in a minute as well, and a lot of great feedback from even a few of the AMAs we've already done. Dow King, Coach X, James Pelton. We had a killer AMA in a lounge today called DeFi Dojo. They are longtime supporters. We've just never been able to do an AMA with them, but they are definitely familiar with our protocol and they support a lot of other protocols that support us. And they had an incredible, very smart group that came out and asked a lot of great questions. So if you're part of that DeFi dojo and you're joining us tonight, shout out to all of you. We appreciate it. So, right, LA, that was one of the best as far as the call groups go, for sure.
It was great, and it was about 2 hours long. It was really long. It was great. They asked some really great questions, both the host and the group participants, and we were really impressed. I mean, I knew it was going to be good because I was keeping an eye on them for probably about 3 weeks before booking them. But their team was incredibly organized prior to the AMA. I was really impressed, and I knew it was going to be a good one coming into it. So it went really well, and we added a ton of new group members today, so that was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. The socials have been on fire. Lots of great new community members coming over and dipping their toe in the water, so to speak. And speaking of additional communities that we have, not only partnered with, but have given an incredible earning opportunity as well. The next section is GOAT token. So a lot of you have already heard about this. If you have not, we have partnered with the GOAT token. It uses the UP token economics, just like UP EMP. For those of you that are familiar with that, or if you're not, it's a way that mathematically the token can only go up in value. And I know that sounds insane unless you know about these, but there is a 5% mint and 5% redeem fee on the token. And it doesn't operate like traditional liquidity where you have to pair with a second token to provide liquidity. It's actually encapsulated and fully collateralized within the token itself. So because there's always that 5% in and 5% out, it pushes the price of the token up because there's always more collateral backing it than what can be redeemed. So it's super bullish and it's very healthy for tokens to pair with GOAT because GOAT always goes up. So our pair is now Spark GOAT. We've generated about $40,000 of external liquidity. Again, Spark GOAT LP is different than the actual liquidity of GOAT. So remember, when you're buying GOAT, it's best to actually mint GOAT directly, and we have a link to their website as well. You can mint it over there. You have to put up your pulse, and then it will mint you GOAT, and then you can pair that with Spark to earn. The APRs have been insane. There is a 2% in, 2% out fee But right now, and again, this is subject to change, so don't, clip this and hold it against me. APRs will go down over time, but at this very moment, you can make your in and out fees back literally in like 5 days, so, or less. So again, it's a no-brainer if you have Goat and you have Spark. Definitely pair it up and put it in the farm. And then again, those fees, we actually redeem the GOAT part of that LP. It's healthy. It's to do that again because selling the token actually makes the price go up. So we sell the GOAT and we use that to feed Sparkler as well. So really exciting stuff. If any of you are not part of their ecosystem, please look into it. They're a trusted team. They've been around for 10 years. Crypto Black Sheep was one of my original crypto buddies, so he's been around as long as I have. And yeah, we're excited. So the only thing is in LA, I don't know if you want to go into this. You must build your Spark Goat LP on version 2. So you want to go over that really quick?
Yeah, sure. So on our website, in the exchange and in the area where you swap, you will see that you can swap both. On the top part, it says swap or liquidity, and then right below it, it says swap V2, liquidity V2, and bridge. And this is in the trade section. If you are on your computer where it's in the left-hand menu, you click trade, and then you click exchange to get to this section. Instead of doing it in the regular liquidity section, which is on the top, you're going to need to click liquidity V2. And that's how you're going to pair your GOAT and your Spark if you are entering that farm. So
Perfect. Yeah. So again, we understand it's a little bit complicated to start. We are acting as our own DEX now. So both EMP, ETH LP, and now Spark Goat LP are on Sparkswap DEX. There is that's V2. It is a bit of a learning curve, but as we continue to add more and more pairs that are actually our own LP, it'll be a lot easier to route between orders. So we did a whole walkthrough on this on the last 2 AMAs. So please go back and watch an old AMA. We literally do a screen share and walk you right through it. Once you understand, it becomes a lot easier. And again, if you did make a mistake and added on V1 instead of V2, then you just would unpair and repair on the right one. So you're really not losing anything except gas fees. But bear in mind that buying these tokens, if you're getting more than a 1% price impact on the swap, that means that you're swapping on the wrong liquidity pair. So just again, be very mindful of that. You could lose out money if you try to push it through anyway. And that's why we purposely, again, the UI, we've done everything we can to make it easier. If you don't see the token that you want to show up, that means that you're probably on the wrong version anyway. So again, EMP will only show up on V2 as well as GOAT. So bear in mind all of that. So all right, anything you want to add to that, LA?
nope, that's it.
All right, a few other updates here, and then we'll get to some questions. Remember when you're bridging over your EMP, you're wanting to turn EMP to Pulse. If you're wanting to turn EMP to Pulse or another coin, you must first swap EMP to ETH and V2. So just like I was saying again, don't get hit with that price impact. There is a ton of liquidity on EMP. It's just not on PulseX. So you need to do swap V2. There's still over $300,000 of liquidity. And so if you're bridging EMP over, you're wanting to sell that to the wrapped ETH first, and then you can take your wrapped ETH and buy, whatever you want, whether it's a stable or Pulse itself or Pulse X or Spark, whatever it might be. So just be very mindful of that. And again, switching between V1 and V2. So all right, awesome. A reminder as well that we are if you are bridging your existing EMP over and then selling it or swapping half for ETH, that is considered selling. So what we don't want to have happen is, you have a big bag of EMP on BSC, you bring it over and you literally sell half of that for Ethereum to go into the farm. That is, hurting the price of EMP, and honestly, it's hurting you as well because now you have to eventually buy that EMP back at what we feel will be a higher price in the future to be able to get into Fusion. So again, not financial advice. What you would do is you would buy, the equivalent amount of EMP. So again, say you're trying to bridge over, and get into the farms, rather than bridging over $500 worth of EMP, you would actually buy $500 worth of EMP, uh, and then bridge that and then sell that. So again, it's a net positive, or at least a net neutral effect on the price. And our arbitrage bots have been doing a great job keeping parity. We're absolutely killing it on those as well. And all those fees, again, have not even started to go to the sparkler because we're trying to seed all the liquidity that we need first. But that will be a major revenue stream as well. So, all right. Also, the
I
ESHARE.
do
Yeah,
actually
go ahead,
want to
Ellie.
go a little bit further into that so everyone
Yeah, please do.
understands what that means. If so, the reason that we haven't added the fees from the arbitrage bot yet into Sparkler is because it's really important to have enough liquidity on both sides in order to keep that parity. And sometimes what happens is when someone makes a big trade on one side is it drains the liquidity on one side. And then what we have to do is take some of the ETH from one side and bridge it over to the other. And if we have used all of those fees and paid it out to Sparkler, then there's none left inside there to balance it out. And so we have to build it up to a certain level first to be able to have enough liquidity in that bot so that we know that, no matter what size of trades anyone's making or what they're doing with the bridging, that we're going to keep that parity because that's very important. But once we do, then we can start shuffling some of those fees over into Sparkler. And once that happens, it's going to be a game changer because it's generating a lot of fees.
Yeah, no doubt. That was an amazing explanation, LA. And yeah, I mean, that goes to show the need of this bridge, even from a protocol standpoint. I mean, anybody else that's trying to do arbitrage or, needs to move funds fast, you can't, you have to wait an hour on the main Ethereum bridge. And, again, and not only is it costly, but it's also, time consuming. And so, by having, like Ellie said, building up enough of a reserve that we don't have to bridge every day to balance out the bots, that will make things way more efficient. And I think we only need a few more days of that accumulation, and then the bots will be, have plenty of meat on the bone to keep that parity, and then we literally just collect, on that arbitrage day after day after day. So we'll give more updates on that when we finally start distributing rewards and what those are. Again, we're not ready to disclose that quite yet, but let's just say I was pretty impressed with what we've been able to do for sure. And it just goes to show. Having this on a different chain or a different protocol, that's a ton of money that is being extracted from the ecosystem, going to pay whoever developed the arbitrage bot and their people. With us, all of that stays in the ecosystem. So again, we're not profiting and leaving all with the profit, it's going right back into paying everybody that's in Sparkler. That's why it's really important that you have a position in Sparkler. And even if you don't have a position in Sparkler, it's buying pressure on Spark because we have to buy the Spark before we create the LP to distribute as rewards. So, all right, and then one last bit. Again, we will have the ESHARE farm coming. We're looking into ESHARE and even EBONDs. Again, more info on that. I'm not going to say a time frame. Just know that we're working on it ASAP. The stable token option is much more important right now because it's a way for us to generate a massive amount of yield and really help us get in front of more and more audience with being the best bridge out there. So all right, that sums up everything with Sparkswap. Jeez, Lou.
I just
Go
want
ahead,
to
LA.
add to
Yeah,
that.
please.
But that being said, creating more utility for your eShare is a top priority for us as soon as that stable token option is added. And we just want you to know that we are taking that very seriously, and that is a big priority for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I know the price of eShare has definitely been down, along with everything else, but the whole idea is that Fusion will put a major amount of use case, utility, and buying pressure on EMP and eShare. We just have to get there. So, all right. All right. Anything else on SparkSwap, LA, before we move on to bonds?
Nope, that's it for now.
All right. All right, so the next part of our AMA today is the EMP Treasury Bond NFTs. So I had them up here. Let me see if I can pull them up. Give me 1 second. All right, there it is. So again, anything with my face on it, we have been very confident that we can deliver on what we're saying. For those that don't know what these are literally a fixed interest loan to the protocol. And typically when you're asking for a loan, that's a sign of weakness. But we're doing it in terms of regulatory issues. So there are no security laws against fixed interest loans to the protocol. And then we're able to generate yield through a multitude of things. So the main way that we're generating yield is through a partner protocol called Trade Yield. It's with a actual certified trader that is creating yield with the funds. We've had a proven track record with him. We've done this since April, and we've gone through a very, very stringent process, which we'll talk about here in a second, of how we rolled this out. But we're more than confident that we can deliver. It is a 60% APR, which again, that means about well, it is 5% monthly, but you do have to hold for an entire year to realize the profit. So they're $250 today. 1 year from now, you'll be able to redeem them for $400 per NFT, which again is a 1.6x or a 60% APR. We will have a marketplace, a peer-to-peer marketplace. So if you do want to exit early, you could potentially find a buyer on the marketplace. But again, that's just a convenience factor that we're offering the community. We're really trying to get everybody to hold for the long run and realize their gains. So it's pretty incredible. Again, 60% on stables. It's USDC in, USDC out. So it has nothing to do with an external token. And even if we're not able to generate any yield over the next year, these are fully collateralized. So again, there was some confusion about that. Again, we're never trading our entire account at once. So there's assets that back these bonds. But even outside of that, we have other treasuries and other wallets that have, actual Ethereum or project tokens. Again, that would be a worst case scenario that we account for project tokens. Obviously, we don't want to have to sell EMP or ESHARE or Spark to pay back the bonds. But it does factor into the collateralization of our assets. So, and we have an insurance fund. So, there is a separate insurance fund that will hopefully collateralize the bonds twice. So right now there's about 200K in the insurance fund, and that will continue to grow as we, move forward with these. But the reason that we decided to do this again is just to help us scale and having access to more capital, especially on the cusp of a bull run, allows us to generate yield. And the goal is that we make more than what we're paying out. And that's why we've been very conservative on that APR. We feel like we can make more than that, and then that spread is used as a revenue stream for Fusion and other parts of our ecosystem. So I think that gives a very high-level overview of what they are and why we're doing this. LA, you want to add anything more to that before I get into some other specifics?
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. I was reading through the YouTube comments earlier today on our last AMA when Brian was on, and he was kind of, and AJ's going to go into that a little bit today, but he was saying his background and how he taught himself, how to trade and how he was able to achieve, a 900% return in his first month. And someone made a comment about, so Brian was able to achieve 900% in his first month, but you're only guaranteeing us 60%. Okay, I see how it is. But I just wanted to let you know, we would never, ever choose a number that we weren't absolutely certain that we could guarantee. So we chose this number based on the last 7 or 8 months of proof. And AJ is going to go through the 5 layers that led us up to this point of all the testing and, the different people we've introduced into doing this and how bulletproof that testing was. But, this is a number that we were very comfortable with saying, a guaranteed APR, because we knew that, we could both pay it out and build an insurance fund, and that there would very likely be extra left over to feed into Fusion. And so if you are invested into Fusion, it's going to be a great way to double dip as well. But, it's something that even if we earn far beyond the 60%, you're not losing out, because if you are in Fusion, you're benefiting from that. Not only because we're building up a super strong insurance fund to then, beyond what we have in our treasury, that's a second fortress that guarantees your investment. But, beyond that, it's all flowing into Fusion for extra capital to reward all of the participants. So
Totally.
just wanted to kind of add that before we fully jump into it, just
Yeah.
because I saw that comment today and I wanted to address it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and again, that is the other end of the sword. What a lot of other protocols do is offer a variable APR, but some months that might not be anywhere near 5%. And if again there is an issue, it could be 0. So we've done again we've chosen not only for regulatory reasons, but also based on what we were comfortable with, doing a fixed rate, return on capital. So, and yeah, if we make more than that, amazing. And if for whatever reason we don't, we still don't ever jeopardize not being able to make good on, what we collect. So, all right, and part of that is again, which I'm going to go into now, and then we can answer some more questions. But this was done on purpose through a very diligent proof of concept phase. So right now we're on the 5th tier of opening this opportunity. So first, Brian submitted his own results to me. Again, I get proposals every day of traders, and a lot of times, they're either flat out Ponzi schemes or there's some sort of AI trading bot that, you're not in control of, that can have wild swings, and just not very safe. So I made sure Brian, submitted some data of his own on the history. Then I tested it. I got in with my own personal funds, and that was the second tier of due diligence. We had amazing results with that. Then we started investing some treasury funds, which again continued to grow with great results. Then we had a small group of VIPs. So we have our own VIP group, but even then, we weren't ready to scale uh, to the VIP audience overall. So I handpicked a few VIPs that I knew, not only, were able to contribute, but were super supportive of EMP. And then they got involved and had great results. So this all happened over, about 7 months. Um, or since April of this year. And after all of that, we then finally switched over to this NFT model. So again, that way everybody is on the same playing field. Nobody got free NFTs. Even we did do a pre-mint, which I think we have a question about this, but we did do a pre-mint of these NFTs and transitioned the original VIPs into the same structure that all of you are getting. So rather than having to refund all them and then have them re-enter, and again, the VIPs alone would have taken up the entire allocation of the NFT. We just thought it was way more efficient and responsible to move their ownership over in terms of NFTs. They paid the exact same amount per NFT that all of you did. Again, I'm not going to dox the VIPs publicly, but I'm sure they can corroborate the story in the chat. And there is on-chain data. Again, we're not going to be doxing wallets, but all this is above board. And now it's a much fairer way, and honestly, it's a lot easier in terms of accounting, that we can just focus on trading, and then the NFTs can be sold for whatever their current price is. So, that was where the pre-mint happened. Again, it was a total of 8 wallets. Everything is on chain. You can see it clear as day, and doesn't impact, the overall fund. The money is backed dollar for dollar. So it was a fair launch. Again, everybody purchased for $250 a piece. It did go live about 24 hours early to VIP, just so that they could get what they wanted to without it selling out. But again, there's plenty left for everybody to still grab today, and there is no unfair advantage. There's no additional yield. There's nothing outside of institutional accounts that Brian manages that have nothing to do with us that had any other structure within what we're doing. So, all right, does that help, LA? I know again, there's more transparent background. You want me to go into anything else or anything else you want to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to clarify based on one thing you just said. So when he said it went live early for VIP, it went live to the whole public VIP group on October 7th.
Correct.
17th, and then to the public on October 18th. But those that were in the original test pilot group, those that were in since May, that were also being called VIPs, they were transitioned one day prior, but their NFTs are not included in that $500,000 cap. So you're not seeing theirs in the counter of what's left out of those 2,000 that are available, because it would have taken up almost everything, or or beyond everything that's available. So
For sure.
those are completely separate, and that's why they were pre-minted, because it had no effect on everybody else's purchases, and they were automatically transferred over based on those group of VIPs wanting to stay in their investments. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no doubt. And one more thing too I wanted to mention. So these are a little bit different than you may be used to in terms of the actual NFT, the way it's coded. These are BEP20 1155s, I think it is. They're a different kind of NFT where, you know, you're not getting like for instance, one of the VIPs you know, has 400 NFTs. You're not literally getting 400 NFTs. You know, and even if you minted NFTs now publicly, you're not getting individual NFTs. You get one NFT, and then you're able to see how many NFTs you have purchased within that NFT. So it's a little bit different again, and it won't show up in your MetaMask. I know we've had a lot of people asking about MetaMask. And we did this on purpose because we didn't want it to be your traditional NFT where you can transfer to a third-party website and sell. It would have created a bunch of undercutting on the price of the bonds, and you know, again, we want to have a much more controlled environment. So that is why we opted for this. But you can definitely see, you know, the NFTs you have on chain. Again, BSC scanner will show you everything. If you connect your wallet to like an NFT trade or NF trade or OpenSea, you can absolutely see your NFTs or NFT with the metadata that says how many you own in that as well. And we have a profile page on the actual website where you can confirm that you know you own the NFTs that it says you will. So again, I think there was some confusion about that. You know, there are no smoke and mirrors. It's just a different type of NFT, and we did that on purpose. So hopefully that again alleviates any you know confusion. I think a lot of people, and I understand. I mean, we're in the world of scammers and you know people that are not genuine. So I think sometimes it turns into a bit of a witch hunt or some drama that it doesn't need to be because everybody's so used to getting screwed. But we're not that group. I mean, we have a 2-year track record. We've never had an exploit. I would never be putting my face on a NFT that I wasn't 100% confident in. You know, we're doing everything in our power to deliver. And again, I mean, I think that we've proven that over the last 2 years, and we'll continue to prove it over the next, you know, 10 years. So again, all right, LA, do you want me to go through the FAQs again, or maybe we better do more specific questions? I feel like we're gonna run out of
Let's
breath
talk
here,
about
but
why
yeah.
they're so bullish now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Yeah, all right, I love it. So we'll focus on all the risks and potential downside, but now we can talk about the upside. So yeah, I mean, it's about diversifying. I mean, you know, we did an amazing AMA with James Pelton over last night or the weekend, and he did a great job summing it up. Where you know, I think a lot of you already have a lot of exposure to EMP, and maybe you feel like maybe too you know, you don't want to continue adding to your EMP exposure, which again, I think that the upside on EMP is pretty phenomenal as well, especially getting back to PEG, we're talking a 10x. But it's about healthy diversification, and this Treasury bond is so bullish because not only is it a way to diversify that really has nothing to do with the economics of our protocol, but it supports the protocol. So you're able to earn, you know, a very attractive APR. You know, everything has risk, but this is about as low risk as it gets in terms of, you know, crypto. And, you know, all the while, as this becomes successful, you know, it's actually helping EMP indirectly, again, by adding to our yield that we're able to generate. So that's why I'm so bullish on the bonds. And again, I think, regardless if I was involved at EMP or not, I always like to diversify into stable exposure, and have some other more high risk, multiple gains, no matter how you look at it. So yeah, LA is that. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, but I don't want to speak for you. What are you bullish on with these NFTs?
For me, it's a forced savings account that I'm pretty confident that in a year from now, we're going to be in the bull market and I'm going to have a really good chunk of change that, I've just earned just 60% APR to then, go wild in the bull market. It's a forced savings account. I'm going to be earning a really great consistent APR this whole time. And in a year, I'm going to cash out and use that to go wild in the bull. So that's what I'm really bullish about.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, I think the timing is great. Like LA said, it'll be unlocking right around the time. And again, not financial advice, but I think we'll be in peak bull market a year from now. Again, this time next year after the halving is usually when all systems go. And yeah, I mean, you have a nice little nest egg to do what you want with at the height of the bull. And again, it beats the hell out of traditional finance. LA, what was we again? It was pretty serendipitous. We got an email, or you got an email about what your
Yeah.
bank was offering, and it was like, peanuts compared to this, right? Go ahead. Yeah.
It was an email from a bank, and they were very excited to let me know that if I invested a minimum of $5,000, I could earn 5% in a year.
Yeah. 5% APR. Yes, exactly. Pretty crazy. And even again, I mean, running an Ethereum validator, that's about 5% a year. I mean, there's a lot of other blue chip and stablecoin options, but nowhere near the APR that we're able to deliver. So, again, we hope that you guys and gals take advantage. We're not here to convince you. We're not here to sell anybody. It's just, I think an amazing opportunity for everybody that wants to be involved. So, all right, and yeah, I don't. We have a full FAQ page. I don't know if it's worth going through it all, LA. I will if you want me to, but is there maybe some specific FAQs you want to highlight, and then we can take some questions?
Well, here's a really popular one. How are we able to guarantee the 60% APR?
Yeah, no doubt. So again, we've been very conservative, and even if we don't make one penny from trade yield, again over the next year, we have reserves that are backing the NFTs. So right now, again, yes, protocol tokens are included in that. Again, I think there's some confusion there. Obviously, it would be a worst case scenario if we had to actually sell EMP or eShare or Spark, to meet the liability, and that is definitely not part of the plan. But it does add to the collateralization. So that is how we're able to use that word guaranteed. Again, even if there was absolutely no yield, we'd be able to pay out 800,000, which is the full raise, tomorrow if we had to. So and again, I mean, we purposely are making this a long-term, fixed APR because we have an entire year again to continue to yield. So again, through Spark, through EMP, through L1 Dex, I mean, even everything outside of trade yield, we are more than confident that we can deliver. So I don't know how to make it even more clear. LA, I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on that would maybe make it more apparent. But yeah,
I mean, and you've been posting the snapshot of the current treasury holding in the trade yield account,
for
which is
sure.
$1.7 million. So
Yeah, so we have plenty of funds. Again, we made the hard decision a year ago now where, everybody wanted us to do buybacks on EMP, and it was a very tough decision for us as a team not to do that, and we probably still get some hate over that, but we would have blown our entire uh, treasury, and we still would have gone down because right around that time we've fallen substantially from that level even as it is today. So rather than again providing extra liquidity and basically giving up on the protocol, we kept the treasury funds. It didn't go into our pockets. Again, we don't take anything in terms of native tokens from the protocol, and that has been used now to generate a substantial cushion or buffer that we can now yield from and pay out in Fusion, indefinitely. That's why we're so bullish on Fusion. And again, we're gonna get it out ASAP. All the final pieces are in place. We just have to again make it happen. And that will be, a way that we not only recover PEG completely, but then are able to maintain PEG and pay out yield all along the way. And this is only one part of about 4 or 5 different revenue streams. Again, Fusion itself is a revenue stream. We have trade yield now producing revenue. We have, a lot of other things, partner protocols that we're invested in producing yield. So, we're really set up about as perfect as we can be. It just might not be the time frame that everybody is hoping for. All right, LA, you there? Sorry. We have
Yeah, I was just working on posting the links in the chat. Sorry.
okay, perfect.
Yep. So both the link to Mint and the link to the FAQs are now in the chat. So if you're interested in finding out more, you can go ahead and definitely check that out. Do we want to take questions, or is there anything else you want to cover first?
Yeah, no, I think that was it. Again, I don't really want to go through all the FAQs. Again, we've done it twice now on both AMAs. I'm happy to stay here for 3 hours, but I think that we've covered it all. And I know there is some, we posted screenshots of the Treasury. We're gonna post everything we can to be as transparent as possible. But I don't want to be pressured into disclosing things that we really don't think is necessary, because it's also a security concern. We have multiple treasury wallets with multiple assets, and the majority of them are either a hardware wallet or a multi-sig. Um, but some of them we need to access, without that to be able to trade or do whatever we need to do. So, it really just boils down to whether or not you trust us as a protocol. And again, we're not managing anybody's funds for them. At the end of the day, it's a loan to the protocol. So if you're not comfortable with that, then that's okay. But again, we're trying to do everything we can to say how we're going to deliver. And to this day, we still have never not delivered. The only other two things that I think again people try to misconstrue is the Sentinel NFT and the Defender NFT. Um, the power up is still paying, and that also goes into this a little bit, but all three of those NFTs were 100% of all that we collected with those NFTs. Again, over $1 million collectively. All of that went into the protocol. It didn't go into the pockets of the devs. It didn't go into my bank account. It didn't go into LA's bank account. All of that was put into Detonator and Reactor and other parts of the protocol to generate yield. And unfortunately, again, all of those assets have depreciated in value, and the yield, is not as good as we were hoping. But that doesn't mean that we, blew $1 million that we collected. And again, I think people have a misunderstanding of that, and I just want to make sure we commented on that publicly as well. So does that make sense, LA? I don't know if I explained that appropriately, but yeah.
For sure, for
Okay.
sure. So this isn't a question, but I'm starting at the top of the chat and I'm going to work my way down. So I just want to address this first comment. This is from Neil. It says, once Fusion is launched, I feel it's really important to get the word out there to get some liquidity into the platform. So totally agree. That's why we already have booked and paid for 10 AMAs for the Fusion launch, and we haven't even actually started booking marketing for it yet. It's just that we booked package deals when we were doing Sparkswap booking. So rest assured, there's going to be a massive, massive marketing push for Fusion. I've gone over this before, but it's been a little while, so I'll definitely cover it again. When Fusion launches, there's going to be a two-tier approach. So when Sacrifice begins, we're going to be going on an initial AMA run. We'll have ads, we'll have banners, we'll have all kinds of calendar launches and AMAs and that kind of stuff all over the place, advertising it. And then once, I'm not sure what exact time frame, it could be a few weeks, it could be a couple months passes by and we're back to peg and everything's pumping and, everyone's chit-chatting about how awesome Fusion is. We're going to ride that momentum into a second whole wave of AMAs and marketing to really, really supercharge things. So that's the plan. 10 of them are already booked and paid for. And there's going to be many, many more when we actually start to book the marketing for Fusion. So rest assured, we are absolutely going to get the word out. It's just not time yet.
Yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, if anybody knows how to market, again, when marketing is not something that we are not used to at EMP. And yeah, again, it's also about timing. And that was another thing, we've said this many times before. We're not intentionally delaying Fusion whatsoever. But there is something to be said that Fusion becomes much more powerful when all the infrastructure is in place, i.e., the revenue stream. So even though all of you are frustrated, and myself included, that Fusion is not here yet, it is a bit of a blessing in disguise because now we have just such a robust, backing of what we're going to be doing, and now we're going to launch Fusion. So, and the timing is also great. Again, market is absolutely pumping right now. So I think it could be a really good year ahead of us. All right, so yeah, great stuff, LA.
Okay, so here's another question for him. I'm not 100% sure which direction he's going with this question. It could be one of two. So maybe you will be. Bridge is great, but fees changing EMP on other side is crazy. So will stablecoin help with this? I'm not sure whether he's talking about the price impact and he's maybe not doing it properly, or if he's talking about the arbitrage bot working more effectively. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. So
which way he's going.
Yeah, I'll answer both ways. That way, hopefully, one of them is right. So, yeah, I mean, the idea with having EMP as the first bridgeable asset, number one, we already had extremely deep liquidity for EMP on the BSC side. So, that was one of the major reasons we knew that we weren't going to have to build additional liquidity. Number two, it's a token that we can, control. Again, not from a centralized perspective, but the fact that we own a lot of it. And number three, it was to benefit the EMP community. So even though, we saw some people moving over and selling, it did have a bit of a negative effect on price. But they would have done that anyway. Again, I don't think people realize what they're actually doing. If you're selling EMP at all, especially now, you're essentially selling the bottom. And whether we have done a bridge or not, uh, anybody could have sold EMP at any time. So that again, the overall goal was that it was at least a net neutral effect on price and peg. And the arbitrage bot. Again, I don't want to disclose the numbers, but the amount of both ETH and EMP that we've been able to accumulate with this arbot has been mind blowing. So it may be a short term negative impact, but long term it is a massive benefit to what we're doing. I mean, we own a ton more EMP now than we did before the arbot. So and that again is less supply that is going to be able to be sold. So all that is super bullish for EMP over the long run. Again, I don't think people truly understand how little EMP there is, and especially now that we're deflationary. Again, every time some EMP is burned, there's no more EMP ever being produced after fusion. So if for whatever reason we somehow recover peg overnight, then maybe another boardroom print. But I think there'll be a lot of profit taking before that happens. So I'm very confident saying that there will never be more EMP than what is out there right now. And the more that you're able to accumulate of EMP, the larger share and ownership of the whole protocol you'll have, and the larger your rewards will be inside of Fusion. So it's just super simple supply and demand. And again, the ones that have understood that, I think have been buying up little by little and are quietly accumulating. They're not on AMAs or Telegram complaining. They're just continuing to buy it up. So don't get left behind. Again, not financial advice. And number two, again, that was a long answer. If they just were saying in terms of usability, yeah, the stable token um, will be much more usable to bridge. So in other words, even though we have EMP as an option right now, a lot of people that have no idea about EMP, they may not be comfortable buying EMP and then selling it. Again, they don't know the liquidity. They may get hit with some price slippage, especially if they're buying it on V1 instead of V2. The price impact can be really big. So there's a lot of really very negative aspects in terms of usability for EMP. That's why it's so important that we've proven that the bridge works, that it is safe, that we are very fast and very cheap, and now we can add a token that will have a much wider appeal to the overall ecosystem. So yeah, hopefully that answers both ways. I don't know what you quite meant, but I think that will answer either way. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Let's see what's next. Is the latest white paper out? I'm not sure if that's regarding Fusion, but if that is, the answer is not yet.
Yeah, so I know that we have said that we're trying to put out more updates with Fusion. We will, we can only move so fast. And right now, Spark getting this bridge finished is number one. And then Jake, our lead developer, will move back to Fusion. And he already has started that process. The new dev team and even the old dev team have been super supportive of everything that we need to build right now. And it's all hands on deck, just trying to scale. I mean, even today, LA, we had a super. I don't want to get in trouble. I always get in trouble for saying too much, but just based on our conversation today, we have an amazing, sprint and development roadmap ahead of us. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I did want to point out one of the comments in the group from KH. It says, I'm one of the VIPs that was in early, and this is in regards to the investment with trade yield and the NFTs, the Treasury Bond NFTs. Great opportunity. IMO also still in it with a bunch of other EMP projects. Thank you, AJ and the team.
Perfect. Yeah. So again, we're not gonna publicly dox anybody that doesn't want to be. Again, I have no problem being public, but a lot of other people don't, and that's their right. And again, we just can only relay what we're saying. Again, it would make absolutely no sense for us to push this on a made up narrative. We have way more at stake than trying to put out a bond opportunity for 500K. Our protocols combined are worth multiple figures more than that. So we would never jeopardize what we're doing. This is simply to add another earning potential and help EMP along the way.
Awesome. Well, it looks like that may be it, unless you see something else.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a lot of it. Again, if any of you did have a question, I feel like we do it a lot. It's not about trying to, get frustrated. I do love the questions and the criticism. I think just to reiterate, it's constructive criticism that is the most helpful. We never want to be in an echo chamber where, it's all yes, yes, yes. We do want to be positive. I think a lot of people don't understand the power of positivity. I know LA talks about that a lot. It doesn't help anybody to get on and talk about all the negatives unless you have a solution or a possible way of helping. I love hearing that. That is what it's all about, and that's what adds to a very productive conversation. But just getting on and listening everything you think is wrong without any solutions comes across very differently. So I love each and every one of you. Again, I would not be doing this if it wasn't something I was passionate about. I know I can speak for LA and everybody behind the scenes with that. We don't get it right all the time, but we do, work every single day to make this the most successful protocol we possibly can. And, I know it sucks to see others dump, and even today we had a big seller at EMP, which they are completely it's mind blowing to me. They sell at a major loss with everything that we have on the horizon. But that is what
We've
we're.
already recovered though,
I love
which
it.
is
There you
amazing.
go. That's bullish, LA. Totally. You did say that. Before we jumped on, we're already recovering. And I guess real quick, LA, you want to go into that? I think it would be a really good way to end this. The reason that we're moving to fusion is for this exact reason, right? I mean,
Hmm.
can you just talk about the
Yeah.
prisoner's dilemma a little bit and all that? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this brings us back, like, let's say a year and a half even before the major bear market became like fully prominent. And we were just absolutely killing it at the beginning. And the boardroom was printing like crazy. We were above peg for days and days and days in a row. I can't even remember how many days in a row were we above peg, AJ?
Yeah, it was multiple months. Yeah, I think well over 90 days, which is insane. Yeah, totally.
But what would happen is we would be killing it. Like we would be on our way to like 1.03, 1.04. And then all of a sudden, some jerk would come along, they'd have a huge print, and they would dump $20,000 of EMP, $30,000 of EMP, and everyone's would be a deflated balloon. And the thing is, with a regular yield farm with a boardroom printing, is like you can never stop that from happening, and there will always be selfish people. And as much as we actually did an incredible job at controlling that through education, and we created some really strong strategies on how you could create an infinite money loop and be able to take profit and do very well at EMP without having to sell your EMP and take care of the protocol. And we've created this incredible community that really cares about EMP. there's always going to be that handful of people who just don't give an F and are going to sell whenever they want to sell, buy whenever they want to buy, swing whenever they want to swing. And that's just the way that it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But we created Fusion because we wanted to put the power back in everybody's hands so that never, ever, ever again can you be super excited about the way things are going and then some asshole swings through and deflates your balloon, because that ain't happening anymore. We're no longer in the prisoner's dilemma. We're no longer going to have some jerk who dumps, who, takes a protocol that's doing extremely well and then, everything dips and then you have to eat up that dip and band everyone together to buy and all these things that we used to do to get things pumping again, to get above pegs so we could print by the next boardroom print. Fusion is so powerful because we all get to collectively win together and we all get to individually win both. And, no matter what one individual's actions are, it won't hurt everyone else, which is just so powerful. And so never again are you going to, be off your computer for a couple days, you sign back on and it's way different from, where you left it. Unless it's moving in a positive direction, hopefully. But, it's not going to be some huge change brought on by one individual is the point. So.
Yeah. No, I love it. That was an amazing explanation. And again, I know the same jerks and haters that dump on our heads, they're going to come in and say, well, EMP, preaches never to take profit. And that's not at all what LA or I are saying here. We're saying that it's about how you take profit that is most important. And again, removing that human error in Fusion and even Spark, we try to do our best with Spark as well through Sparkler, where you can actually earn way more getting into Sparkler than just selling your Spark. We've said this many times. Fusion is like Sparkler on steroids. So if you like the mechanisms of Sparkler, you will love the mechanisms in Fusion. And again, we just feel like it's a much better way of doing things. And it will only work if we have revenue streams. So that's why, again, we have to focus on the exact order of operation to get everything going. So, all right, I think that was an amazing ending. Hopefully that gets everybody excited for EMP. Not financial advice, but maybe buy the dip. And then on EMP specifically, other than that, you should be killing it in, if you have some BTC, you're up, maybe take some profit, put that in EMP. Again, sell high and buy low, not financial advice. But I think we're in for a great rest of the year, and we have a lot more updates and announcements coming. Again, Sparkswap will be an absolute monster. Once the bridge is fully functioning with a stable token, that will be a lot more volume, more rewards in Spark. Again, even some of the on-chain analysis we've done, we had another whale at Spark, exit all the Spark positions, and go right into the farms that are non-native, which is good for us because that means there's potentially less selling on Spark if they decide to exit. So everything is shaping up. Again, it's not, we can't control everything, but we can continue to build and make things as attractive as possible. And with Pulse pumping, again, I think that we could be in for a really great next few months with Spark specifically as one of the leading dexes. Again, the idea is that now we're competing directly with PulseX. And again, I don't mean that in a negative way or a competitive or predatory way. I mean that in a bullish way, just like Pancake Swap and Ape Swap and all the other dexes. There's room for everybody, and so we'll be one of the top dogs on Pulse. I mean, we already are. We started as an AMM, not even a real DEX, and we're already at the top of that list. So moving forward, it's just going to be even more and more bullish. So all right, awesome. I think we did it all, LA. Anything else? Any final words? Any last minute questions before we wrap it up?
I think that's it. Honestly, I think we knocked it out of the park. I just want to say thank you to all of you who joined us tonight. You're all champions, and we will see you on Thursday. We do have another AMA coming up on tomorrow with Crypto Pride. We have another one coming up on Wednesday, so I'll be announcing those with the links in the mornings before the AMAs, and we'll keep this train rolling.
Yep, absolutely. So again, thank you all. We're well over, or at least 10% of the NFTs are gone. So I know some of you were waiting till the last minute, but don't get left out of the Treasury Bond NFTs as well. Never invest more than you can afford, but definitely check them out and help us, continue to grow. So, all right, thanks everybody. Again, like LA said, we're here every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing a bunch of AMAs this week, literally at least one, if not multiple, AMAs per day until the end of the month. So plenty of info and ways to get in touch. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, all the comments and all the likes and all the views will help us get in front of more people and help us continue to grow, and reach new audiences. So, all right, thanks everybody. Good night, good day. We'll see you on Thursday, if not sooner, with some of the other AMAs. Good night.